Okay. Fighting for my attention. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Baby girl. Been able to read much more on Ruth Ozeki's novel. It's very interesting and it grabs me. It's just, I guess I'm just not really in the headspace right now to read a literary novel like this. You know, I'm not going to put it down. I'm not going to DNF it or anything like that. I guess I just wanted to give a quick reading update when it comes to this book. I mean, I just started it yesterday, so there really isn't any rush for me right now. But I did receive book mail and I actually got Seance Tea Party, and this is actually one of those this is a graphic novel that I saw Allison Pages mention that she got, and when I saw the cover I actually really fell in love with it, so I decided to grab it myself. So I think I'm gonna start reading this tonight before I go to bed. It's about a little girl who doesn't want to grow up, and she has a tea party with the ghost that haunts her house. I thought the premise was pretty cute, and so I decided to grab it. And then another book that I picked up is Different Not Less, a neurodivergence guide to embracing your true self and finding your happily ever after. I put Unmasking Autism in my cart because of Allison Pages. I was gonna check out Unmasking Autism, but I personally, I know I have ADHD. I've been officially diagnosed with ADHD, but I haven't even been talking about autism with my therapist at all. So it could just be a me thing, going down a rabbit hole type situation, and especially because there are a lot of symptoms that match up with ADHD. I didn't want to get that book just yet, even though I can especially really relate with the whole masking situation. And so I found this book, or this was recommended to me while I was about to check out. So I decided to buy this one instead, because specifically for the title, that is something my therapist and me say a lot, or my therapist tells me a lot whenever I'm having difficulties with something that is very much related with my ADHD, that I'm you know, I'm still human, but I am different, not less. So the fact that this title is the mantra that I've been saying in therapy kind of just felt serendipitous in a sense. So I picked this up, and it's basically Chloe Hayden's, the author's journey through her diagnosis with autism and ADHD, and she gives tips on what she's learned. So it seems like it's gonna be a fun, easy, well, maybe not fun, but it does seem like it would be an interesting read. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one, especially if it's a reading, especially if it's just like an easier read with the current headspace that I have. I guess the panic attack that I had on Monday kind of took much more out of me than I thought it did. I know I'm experiencing some kind of burnout. I just think it's my body saying that I really want to be done with this job than anything. At first I was worried that maybe I was at first I was kind of worried that I was burning myself out with reading, but that's not the case. Honestly, if anything, reading has helped recharge my battery a lot. I've noticed that even reading at work hasn't helped anymore because it's just like my general setting. I can't do much about it until August, so I'm gonna have to like really take it in stride or whatever. I honestly don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just need to get it off my chest. Speaking of ADHD, I chickened out on taking drawing classes this summer because I really want to practice art and I really want to expand my skills and everything like that. And I've always loved art. Art has always been a part of me in many different ways. My undiagnosed anxiety, depression, and ADHD has made it really hard for me to pick up a lot of my hobbies growing up. I know it's not a hyperfixation because all my art supplies isn't buried in my hobby graveyard, you know? But it's been really hard. I kind of told myself that I would start, like that I was gonna try teaching myself, but like actually do something about it and like force myself to start making art. But I guess I'm just scared that it'll disappear like all my other hobbies do, which in hindsight it shouldn't. I am better. My ADHD perfectionism just, ruins everything, and it's really hard getting out of that mindset. I'm sure anybody can relate to that, especially people with recently diagnosed ADHD could know that it's hard once you finally know what it is, but you still can't do anything about it. Happy Friday. This week has been very slow and very non-eventful. I guess I didn't realize how much that my body needed to recover from my panic attack. This time around, my legs got really numb and cramped. So the entire week, my legs have felt like I did a leg workout without warming up and without stretching. Like my legs were in pain basically. If I would have had enough PTO, I think I would have asked the whole week off. Yesterday, I had a whole to-do list of things that I wanted / needed to do, but as soon as I came home, I crashed. Basically, my head started hurting really bad and I needed something to keep me awake because I was home alone, so I needed to walk my dog. So I basically just put on the new season of Human Resources and watched that all day. I didn't read, I didn't draw like I wanted to. Basically, this week was full of non-heavy tasks for the brain. I guess that's what you could call it. And it's not that any of the books I'm reading are slow like The Hummingbird's Daughter. It's just, I guess the Book of Form and Emptiness requires a lot more of my brain to work for me to be able to read it. And I just didn't have that energy this week, like at all. Again, I still don't really understand what triggered it. So I got my tattoos last week on Thursday, and Sunday was Father's Day. And I think what may have triggered it was I was basically on edge all of Sunday just because I was like anticipating how my mom would react. And she didn't react at all how I thought she would. I think when I was finally relaxed, like I guess the weight of all of that came crashing down to Monday morning, and that maybe is what triggered it. That's the only thing I could think of, but who knows? Mental health issues. So it's definitely been a slow week this week. The only way that I could put it is that my executive is dysfunctioning. Things have just been so hard to do. It's been really hard to pick up a book. I feel like a robot when I'm working. I'm not having the best time. But on the plus side, I did manage 2 big things this week. One is a milestone, actually. I reached a big milestone in my weight loss journey where I can finally fit into the oldest pants I own. And they still fit me a little tight, but they could button and zip up, which is, you know, a big thing for me. And the other big thing, I managed to finally finish my first draft of my thesis, well, part 2 of my thesis. I didn't make it to 26 pages like I wanted to, but I did make it to 22, which is fine. And I sent it to my director, so now I just have to wait and see what she says. Depending on how I feel, I'm actually going to start working on part 3, so that way while she reviews and takes notes on part 2 of what I need to fix, what I need to develop more and everything like that, I'll be writing part 3, so that when I'm done with part 3, she will hopefully be done with the draft that I sent and we could switch. And so while I'm second drafting part 2, she'll be writing and looking over part 3. And since part 1 is basically just introduction and background information, that doesn't, one, it doesn't need a lot of pages, and 2, it'd be easier to focus on that once the bulkier part of my thesis has been written and finalized, so that way I can actually do my introduction. I did start Seance Tea Party, and it's really cute. The main character is actually named Laura, but she doesn't spell it the same way I do. I could actually see myself a lot in this main character. So yeah, again, I'm only a couple pages in because it's been hard to do things. But what I have read so far is pretty interesting, pretty cute. You know, I can't wait to see how the story develops, and I really like the art style. I have made little progress on the form of book and emptiness. Again, I think one of the reasons why it's been a slow read is because of my mental state as it is at the moment, but I'm definitely not DNFing it or anything. It is just taking me a while. So yeah, so I don't I think I lost track. But what I was trying to say about my thesis is that I can't decide if I should go ahead and start writing part 3 right now, which is mid-June, or if I should give myself a small break and start writing until literally July 1st. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how the week ends or how I feel on Monday. That would probably make that decision for me if I manage to get my energy back, if I could finally make my executive function again. I know it's called executive function or executive dysfunction. It's just, I like to joke about it like that, okay? But yes, if I do start writing, it's probably because I got inspired and just kept going. Now that I'm talking about this out loud, I think I am definitely just gonna wait until July, since there's only one more week, basically, of June. Yikes.